And for the Pope's next miracle, he's going to tell us what this movie is about. This is Gone with the Pope on Stinker Madness.
Stinker Madness. Stinker Madness. Stinker Madness. We got the Stinker Madness.
Hello and welcome to Stinker Madness, the podcast about bad movies by bad movie lovers. I'm your host, Justin. With me, as always, are Sam and Jackie. Hello, Jackie. Hello.
Hello, it's me, Jackie, the Pope.
Sam, how are you?
Popin' awesome.
Popin'
Oh.
rific.
Poperosso?
Popendous.
Popendous.
Yeah. This movie is about the Pope. I don't think it is. I don't know. Let's not even say what this movie's about, but this shit is fucking nanners. It is ridiculous.
There is, as we won't be able to get away from it through the whole thing, that he, despite barely having an idea of what the story he was trying to tell was, did have two different stories for two different movies.
Indeed. Tied around one character. Let's start by talking about good old Duke Mitchell, the film's producer, director, writer, star. He whiz out in this one. Jackie, this is your first tour of Gone with the Pope. What did you think of Duke Mitchell?
His hair looked like a Brillo pad.
Mm-hmm.
It was out of control.
Yeah.
I hated the halfways unzipped, unbuttoned shirts because he was a hairy dude, right?
Sure.
He was a hairy guy. So he had to show off that chest hair. I get it. I do.
It's 1976, you know.
Yeah. And, that was his wardrobe, half open shirt.
I think that's the wardrobe of the 70s, answers the question, which swinging dick, this swinging dick.
Yeah.
That's the wardrobe he's wearing right now. It exclaims, this swinging dick.
Would you call Duke Mitchell a charismatic performer?
No, and he's not handsome either.
Yeah. Sure seems like he's putting the vibe out there, though. Like, my character is this. I'm a charmer and, gonna carry this film. And
So he's like 48, 50, something like that when he makes this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's doing the I still got it thing.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And no self-respecting woman would date that guy, especially not the rich one that he puts in as his co-star lady friend.
That might be a real life situation.
Yeah, I think you underestimate the power of booze and coke.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This guy, he had a lounge act, get everybody loose. I'm sure he was very successful with the ladies.
Mm-hmm. Show a little bit of cash. Have one of those rotating beds in your room with a mirror on the ceiling and a black lady sitting on top of a panther art above it, Mm-hmm.
Plus the tried and true method of picking up women in the 70s by degrading them.
Yeah. Slapping them on the ass, calling them toots, broads.
Which is, in the movie, he's like just so demeaning to every woman. And
He's
then
demeaning to every person.
He's demeaning to every person, that is true.
Except for the Jews. Duke Mitchell, defender of Jews.
If there was a Jew in the movie, I'm sure he'd say something bad to them.
Yeah, probably.
But there wasn't, and he's just really sore about the Holocaust.
That's what it is. He's nice to everyone who isn't in the room with him.
Yeah.
He's just an asshole if you're there.
Yeah, no, it's like, you say anything about Luke, I'll fucking kill you. I'll fucking rip your guts out. Then Luke walks in and goes, what do you want, fucking dipshit?
Get the fuck out of here,
Get the fuck
Luke,
out of
you
here.
piece of shit.
You piece of shit.
Throw you off of this boat.
The mouth on that Duke Mitchell.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
the fingernails on that Duke Mitchell. Holy shit, did you guys see those
Yeah, they were
claws?
long fingernails. Those are Coke fingernails.
Hell yeah, they were. He had a pinky nail like you would not believe,
Yeah,
people.
that's,
When you watch this movie, you're going to know that guy does some cocaine.
Forgive my ignorance when it comes to the Coke, but what's the long fingernails for? Picking your nose?
You pick the Coke up with the pinky nail, and then you just snort it right there.
It's a spoon.
Rather than all of the rigmarole of razor blades and mirrors and whatnot.
It's an evolutionary spoon.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, you see a guy who's got one long fingernail and it's his pinky, that is just like it's a flag that waves back and forth and says cocaine.
Yep,
Man or woman.
That guy's having a great time.
Great time.
Or he's batshit fucking crazy and will cut you.
With his pinky nail?
Or just with a knife, because I Coke people, cut people, right? I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Okay, so the film also the production elements of this thing. I want to, because some of the stuff we can't express on what a bonkers thing this movie is. For instance, this is Duke Mitchell's Godfather. This is Mario Puzo's Gone with the Wind. Like, it is supposed to be a powerful film with him and him walking around and all these shots of his life and montages of him. Like, let's care about this character type thing. You know, him and his wife's relationship.
That's his girlfriend.
Is
Whatever.
it? Okay.
Yeah, she was married to a video surveillance fortune heir. Who knows?
Yeah, and he's dead now.
He's dead now, so she can bang Mitchell
And
give him everything he wants.
the plot against him by the mob guys.
They were never really against him. They just hired him.
They're going to whack him.
Well, they figured he was going to screw up on his own, and then he doesn't.
Yeah, so now it's time to whack him.
Yeah, he knows too much,
Yeah, so
which is nothing.
like I think that it's supposed to be like, wow, man, it's tough being a criminal, you know? Like, there's good things about it, and then there's real bad things about it. Like, you gotta kiss your brother and say, you know, I knew it was you, Fredo, and then shoot him in the face type thing, you know? It's tough. It's tough being a criminal, and I don't get that impression from the story at all.
No.
This is Grab Ass the Criminal.
Yeah, Criminal Grab Ass, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's a cheap criminal too.
He's cheap, yeah.
I mean, he killed 7 people for $100,000.
Hey, he just got out of the pen, man. You know, he's got to earn his cred back.
He's cheap. He's like the Walmart discount mob killing guy.
Sure, okay.
So, you know, you get what you pay for. You took a chance. It didn't break on the first time you used it, but the second time is a little iffy.
It's the 25-cent chocolate pie.
Yep.
It's too hard on the outside, and when you finally bite through it, the chocolate squirts everywhere.
Yep.
You're like,
Gets you
I
right in
should
the eye.
have got the 75-cent chocolate pie. This 25-cent one sucks.
This one leaves too big of a mess, and
Yeah.
so does Duke Mitchell of bodies.
In response to, there is a large opinion on the internet that this film emulates The Godfather. If it does that, it does it quite poorly.
Oh, absolutely, quite
Like,
poorly.
I can see that he liked The Godfather. It isn't ripping The Godfather off verbatim in any way, shape, or form
no, it's
because
not.
of the events. And there's really very few parallels here other than they are Italian.
I just mean by the production design.
Yeah.
Like, man, this is really going to be a powerful one. This one is going to move people. Because it's not... There's relatively little violence in it. You know, there's a couple scenes of, you know, guys getting blown away and stuff. But really, it's just Duke Mitchell's character wandering around Earth.
Yeah.
Like, he's just making it up as he goes type character actions. And... So I mean, just the idea that it's a powerful statement is where I'm going. How about the music?
Jeffrey Mitchell can fucking play the guitar.
Yeah,
I like the music. I thought it was cool.
it's great because it's probably I think it's the strongest part of this film.
Yes, it really is.
There's points where you go, what the fuck is this Paul guy? What is he doing? And then he comes barging in and starts blowing some guys away. And you hear like this band that's like a blend between Deep Purple and Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And it's fucking badass shit. And you're like, yeah, get some, Paul. Fuck, I'm behind you. And then he jumps in the car and he's like, but unbuttons another shirt and slams a beer and tosses it out the window and flips off the police as he drives off. And you're like, fuck yeah, Paul. And then 2 minutes later, you're like, God damn it, Paul. I hate you.
I hate you. You are the bastard.
And then 3 minutes later, badass song. And you're like, fuck yeah, Paul.
Yeah, that last song that they played most of the way through, Jackknife, I think, was what it was called. That's a pretty good track.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
surprised
these
that
guys
didn't get some
could
airplay.
have done something.
Yeah.
I liked the music a lot, and even the score.
There's a lot of Jeffrey Mitchell just playing a single guitar and Duke Mitchell singing to it as well.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of Spanish guitar type style, classical guitar being played. Just, you know, like sort of like the Godfather type style music, and it still works. The music is just a really well scored film by far, and it does not match the shenanigans that are happening on screen to any degree.
Yeah, sometimes during this movie I was just like, okay.
Where is this going? Because you're not confused what's happening. You're just like, where are they going with this?
Yeah, like, why? Okay, that scene was just in there. Like the dog scene.
Yeah.
The dog that obviously doesn't like him very much.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Hamlet the dog.
Hamlet the dog. He wants to be in the movie more, but he can't really get Hamlet to hang around with him.
No. Hamlet's like, fuck you, buddy.
Fuck you,
That is
buddy.
not Duke Mitchell's dog. And if it is Duke Mitchell's dog, that dog has ran away.
Well, I think Hamlet's just a good judge of character.
All right, so let's dive into this thing. The film starts out with a credit sequence where it's the reading of the Genesis creation story.
An abridged version. And ends basically with, then on the seventh day, God created man, and he fucked the whole thing up, and it's awesome. Like, immediately you're like, oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah, because it had some really classy art going on
That's
behind
the Sistine
it.
Chapel.
Yeah.
It's like one of the classiest arts ever.
Yeah.
Michelangelo, he was kind of a big deal.
He was also an Italian.
And a Ninja Turtle.
Yep. You don't get much more badass than that.
Love that pizza. So then we cut to some mob guys sitting around a pool, eating spaghetti, of course.
Talking about some, like, the essential problem that they have is unclear.
Yeah, I'm not real sure why they need to take out these 7 guys. I think they're casino owners?
Something like that. And it's like, oh, we got to get out of the game, but we should whack these guys.
Or are they wanting them to sell? I also got the impression that there was like a real estate deal going on, that these 7 guys wouldn't let go of their casinos, so they got to whack them, and that's how they're going to get their hands on these casinos?
I guess.
I don't
That's
know.
what I thought, that they were going to whack some people so that they could get the casinos.
I don't think it works
Unclear.
like that, yeah. But, so they have to essentially hire a hitman to whack 7 guys, and it all has to be at the same time. I'm also not real sure about that, or is that just Duke Mitchell's plan
That's
to, like...
his plan to not get, and this is not clearly stated in the movie, but if all 7 of these guys are in business together, and he had to do it by himself, they would be onto him when the first group gets killed. So the way to get away with it, which they don't clearly state in the movie, but what I'm assuming is that the way to do this without getting caught immediately is to kill them all at once.
Okay. I can subscribe to that. And so why don't they have very much money? Because the offer to Duke Mitchell to whack 7 guys is $100,000, and he's got to split it 50-50.
50 with...
So it's cheap. It's a cheap deal. Why does it have to be a cheap deal? Why can't they get like one of their primo whackers to
I don't know.
do
These
this?
guys just seem like dickheads to me. I think that's the only way to explain the mafiosos at the beginning of the movie, is that they've got some problems, but they don't really want to spend a lot of money. And that's really all there is to that. And they know a guy who's going to do it on the cheap.
Okay. All right.
And that he's a pro, he'll be able to do it on the cheap, and then he'll probably fucking get caught on his own.
Well, he's gotten caught before because he's in prison.
And they're using him because he's getting out of prison, so he's going to have heat on him already.
He's got 3 other buddies that are also in prison with him, and they're like family. They've stayed together throughout the times and watched out for each other and looked over each other's back, but now they're all in prison at the same time. And so Duke Mitchell's plan is to take this job. He's a little wonky on it at first, like whether he should take the job or not, but he's going to take this money, kill these guys, and then be able to create a life that these 4, him and these 3 other dudes can then, have a little enjoyment moving forward in life. Because they're bitter. They're all...
We got to get rid of the bitterness.
They're all stoved up with bitterness now, which doesn't really ever get shown. They all seem like they're having a pretty good time.
Well, they
Even
can't
in prison.
hold their booze. And in the prison, when he's there, you see him, he's like this... he's painting himself as this almost benevolent character that he helps out everybody. Everybody knows Paul. If they got problems, they're going to go to Paul. And they're all sad to see Paul go.
Yeah.
Paul's the guy. And then he's like, he paints himself as that picture in the movie too, all the way through that. Paul's the guy, unless you're a woman
it's not
or have any level of non-Italian ethnicity towards you. Then you can go fuck yourself.
Sam, he would have taken care of you.
Maybe. I'm a half braid, so he might not have liked me that much. He would have been a dick to me, but he would have been like, here's a $5 when no one's looking.
Get yourself a haircut.
Yeah, exactly.
Or here, buy yourself some food.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is you poor people do, because he's just going to assume that you're poor because you're not 100% Italian.
100% Italian, yeah.
So
I will say that being half Italian is enough to know how racist Italians were of that generation. My grandma and all her brothers, it was difficult at times.
I have heard that from several people.
There is the 70s and the 80s, really probably the 60s and the 70s more than that, but that generation of adults, that's the full backlash of all of the racism against the Italians had come 180, and they fucking hated everybody.
So a little side story. I recently read this book called American Desperado that's about essentially the leader, the highest of the cocaine cowboys. Can't remember his name, but really interesting guy wrote this book, and he said that back when he was working in New York for the mob, his cousins and uncles and their all that sort of stuff, that they could have taken over a ton of shit and been 3 times the empire that the mafia was in the 70s if they just weren't so fucking racist. They wouldn't work with people
No, they won't.
that were like, we look at this plan, we're going to triple your income. And they're like, no, fuck you.
No,
fuck you.
That's the thing, is that they were alone in the beginning. You turned your back on us before, the hell with you. They experienced so much racism with the immigration that it really did ruin generations of Italians towards the rest of everybody else.
Yeah. So this guy just moved down to Florida. Well, he didn't just move down to Florida. He had some things making him. But he was like, I'm not above working with Cubans and Colombians, so I'm going to get extremely rich moving coke.
In most of that generation that's at this time, they didn't experience that shit at the turn of the century and the late 1800s that they should be that. It's like a second generation, like ingrained bitterness from their parents that they shouldn't have.
Right.
But it fucking survived well into the 80s with a lot of Italian people.
This film is one of the most offensive racist films I've ever seen.
And I will attest that I've got relatives that had said every fucking thing that he says in this movie.
Sure.
And worse.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
That was the very first time I'd ever heard
I
that.
don't think we need to recount the
We
things
don't
that he says.
really want to do some verb. Just because he said it doesn't mean we can say it.
Can we edit that?
Yeah.
Thanks.
I might beep it, but man, what a dick. Anyways, we meet his wife, girlfriend thing, whatever she is. He tells her about this job, and she's like, I'm so glad to have you back, but, I'm worried about you you're never going to get out, are you, Polly? They're always going to bring you right back in. And she is arguably one of the worst actresses I've ever seen on screen.
She is reading. Her eyes are moving from left to right during her first long line. And thereafter, anytime she has more than one sentence, she is reading because she
barely has any lines after this scene.
And she has to read them.
Montages of them walking around and doing stuff. But her acting is seriously like, I'll just read you some of my notes. He's getting out of prison. Gonna pull one last score. Then a boat and his boys take on a trip. Paul visits his wife. She stinks. It's just, lady, you can't even act while you're reading.
What's amazing about her acting poorly is that she stands out in a room full of horrid acting.
Oh, as the worst.
Everyone besides Duke Mitchell is as rigid as a board.
Yeah.
And she is able to be exceptionally worse than that.
She is crowned as the Pope of stinking.
Yes.
She stinks. It's great, though.
It is fantastic.
It's not funny because you're just scratching your head going, is this possible to be this bad?
Yeah, you are in awe because you've never seen anybody act so poorly in your life.
She was there for the drugs.
She was on the drugs.
She might have paid to be in the movie. Who's to say?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who's to say that wasn't her house? She wasn't Who's to say that Duke Mitchell wasn't really nailing her? Her husband wasn't really a dead guy who invented closed circuit surveillance. That all could have been real. Like, because of how Murawski describes how scattered the notes are and that everything was there, there's probably more truth than fiction in some of the scenarios here, just because he didn't have time to make anything up.
Right. Yeah, if somebody walked in right now and said, oh, that was his bang maid, I would be like, oh, okay, I can see that.
Like, yeah, he did the lounge act, didn't pay for anything. He'd been living with her for 10 years. I'd be like, okay, I buy that.
Mm-hmm.
So they go on a romantic walk throughout town and carve their names in a tree and the woods and the zoo, and it's very, he's got a nice, good, solid home life. This man really loves this woman.
Yes.
And,
she's going to make the rest of his life okay, if he so chooses, which is something we'll need to be remembering for when I explain what happens in this film.
He's just got to pull this one last job, otherwise they're going to kill him. He doesn't have a choice. He just really wants to be with this woman that he loves.
Yeah.
And it's so you don't hate Duke Mitchell at this point.
Not yet.
But so there's 2 groups of these guys, as we mentioned. There's 4 in LA and 3 in Vegas. So he can't do the job by himself. He's got to whack them all at once. So he hires this buddy he knows, his name Giorgio. Giorgio works in Las Vegas, so he's got to go find Giorgio. Like, I got to tell him about this job. I don't know where he's at. I'm just going to go to Vegas
and wander around until I find Giorgio.
Find Giorgio.
And it takes about 4 hours.
Yeah, he has to ask the lady, like, have you seen Giorgio Luis, the 21 dealer? Yeah, I've seen him. He's in town someplace. All right, I'll look for him.
Who's to say in 1976 you couldn't just wander around the strip until you found somebody?
I'm sure you can still wander around the strip until you can find somebody. The odds of it happening are quite low.
Okay.
Even back then, you got the Sahara, you got the sands,
The sands.
you got the palms, you
dunes.
got the Golden Nugget, you got there was big casinos even back then. Sure, there wasn't the Caesar's Palace and all the
But they showed
John
the Caesar's
Wynn
Palace
stuff.
in this
Yeah,
movie.
I guess there was Caesar's Palace. There wasn't the Wynn stuff. What's that guy's first name?
I don't know.
The rich guy. The freaking pyramid and the New York. None of that stuff was back
Excelsior
then.
and Camelot
Yeah,
and whatever
yeah,
that.
yeah.
What is that shit?
Luxor.
Yeah.
The Luxor. What's the fucking
Camelot?
shit? Is that called Camelot?
Camelot.
Yeah, that thing's ridiculous.
It's only
That's
a
the
model.
That's the Excalibur.
Excalibur.
Oh, okay,
There we
all
go.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want to go back to Camelot. It is a silly place.
It is a silly place.
So what is his name again? The guy-
Giorgio.
Giorgio's like, I didn't want anybody to see me like this. I'm a mess. And then it shows a shot of him. You're like, well, you don't look good, but
You look.
I mean, what's the problem?
You look like a not handsome guy.
Yeah,
but
I
what's,
mean-
what's the problem?
Clean you up, and you're still not much to look at, buddy. So what's the deal here with you?
You look like just another drunk guy in Vegas.
Yeah,
You look like me in Vegas.
Yeah, there you go. So I don't know what Giorgio's fucking problem is, but
I don't know. Maybe he's got a taste of the nose candy too, and maybe he's got like debts. You know, the guys are gonna come and put him out in the desert, and don't look at me, I'm hideous. I don't know. So they're gonna split this $100,000, 50-50. So Duke gets $50,000 for this job, even though he does kills
More.
one more guy. Well,
he does one more guy.
well, whatever. He's a fair man.
He's a fair man.
You're still wondering, hey, is this a lovable rogue or not at this point?
No, I'm just looking at him going, ew,
Yeah.
ewy.
Yeah. Is he as ewy as Tommy Wiseau?
Oh, God. They're both ewy. But this,
You have seen
Dude.
Tommy Wiseau's ass.
yeah. But, the Duke guy, he's a little less ewy.
Less ooey?
I think Duke Mitchell's a less ewy guy than Tommy Wiseau. I'm not sure. I think I'd rather hang out with Tommy Wiseau just because the odds of me getting offended are much less.
In terms of the film, though, this is a good clean hit for all of the sort of weirdness and like what is going on here. In the in-film world, these two guys pull off a pretty good hit.
Oh yeah. Paul finds his guys in a restaurant. Of course, they're Italian.
Back room
Yeah.
dealing.
Yeah.
He's set up a fake deal
Mhm.
where he's going to give him a check, but instead they're going to have to take some hot lead to the bank and try to cash that.
But they can't because they're dead.
And he does throw in a free guy.
Oh yeah, he kills his buddy just for the fuck of it.
Yeah.
The
he's
guy that
like,
gets him into the room is like, not me. Why not?
Blows him away.
He wouldn't have said anything. He probably would have lived.
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't have. He needed to get rid of the witnesses. That guy was
Yeah.
going either way.
Yeah. Giorgio finds his guys in a hotel room and he blasts them as well at the same time. Everything works out for those two on their hit. They get paid, I guess. So,
I think he got it up front,
oh, okay. All right. Fine.
yeah, because he gave the money to
Yeah.
Georgie.
Giorgio. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess, did time go by between this? Because the next thing is he's getting his boys out of prison. Or does the mob, because he did this job, are they doing him another solid? Like, because they're supposed to be in there for another 6 months after Paul.
I think that it takes him a month to plan the hit. Then a few months go by. He goes back to his girlfriend's house. The guys get out. So you just forward.
Well, either way, they get out. And so he picks them up in a Rolls Royce. Nice silver cloud. And
One of his girlfriend's cars.
yeah. And they have a podium.
I don't know what that thing's called. It's called something.
I know what it's called, but we can't reveal that per se.
Yes.
Because they don't reveal it to us. But
They have a wooden piece of furniture.
it bears a striking resemblance to a podium. If you needed to use it as a podium, you could use this thing as a podium.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways.
Or a lectern, say.
Yeah. So they're carrying around this wooden thing that they put in the car and they toss their clothes. And hey, it's time to go have fun. The boys are back in town. And they go to a bar. They're going to go get drunk and have a good time. And here we go.
Yep.
There's a hooker sitting next to him. You don't know that she's a hooker. And you kind of think that, like, they have met this woman, and because they're such awesome guys,
Charming
and,
fellows,
and
say.
palling around, hey, the boys,
The boys
are
are
back.
back in
let's,
town.
Let's
Yeah.
go hang out with them. And they find this black lady, and so they're picking her up, and she's part of the crew now. And then she's having
Well,
drinks.
she's
and
just
stuff.
sitting there because it's a free country. It's a bar.
Yeah, but I thought she was with them.
I did
Yeah,
too.
I
when
never
the scene
thought
opened.
that.
Well,
I thought that was a really, even this time through that, I look at that shot and I go, this is a really weird shot because it's a shot you never see in movies because it makes you get lost as the viewer. They are sitting at a bar and the camera is on the wrong side of the bar. So you don't even realize it's a bar.
Yeah.
And that's why you never see that shot in movies because you're like, what, is this a bar?
Yeah.
What's going on? You have to see the bartender and the booze back there to understand what's going on, but the camera is on the inside of a bar for this shot. And so she's just sitting at the bar.
Well, you and Jackie and I completely disagree because we are on a different page thinking that she was with them, that they were partying. She just got looped into the party. But either way, she's sitting quite close to these gentlemen. And it's not like she's down at the end of the bar or across the hall or anything like that. She's right fucking
She's
there.
merchandising.
They at no point pay her any mind in the shit talking that they proceed with about the racism. But it's not even like, hey, over there, you know. It's like, hey, this fucking bitch, like, dude, she's right fucking there.
Well, Luke is blowing her kisses. That's the first thing that happens.
Okay.
Luke blows her kisses and says, mouth is I love you.
Well, it turns out she's a hooker.
Yeah.
So
See, I thought she was a hooker too. Just
either way, the idea is that these guys have been locked up for a long time, and so they need to get some. So they don't like it because she's black and they're racist. But
except Luke, he's on board the whole
they
time.
need a piece of ass, so they're gonna get her. But so instead of going like, okay, your place or mine, let's go up to the hotel room and I'll bang you boys, they take her out dancing.
Yeah, I don't know if they understand how hookers work.
That's the point of the hooker, is you don't have to do any of that stuff.
You just
give her the cash, she bangs you.
Yep.
That's
and
it.
Then they go dancing and then they all drink too much and nobody can bang her.
I'm not even sure she knows how to be a
She doesn't
hooker.
know how to do it because she tries to give a refund because she doesn't bang anybody. And then Paul's like, no, honey, you keep that. You showed them a good time. They just can't hold their shit together. Now I'm going to call you a bunch of really bad things. I'm going to be completely degrading to you, but I'm still going to nail you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you another hot $100 for fried chicken and watermelon is what he tells her.
Yeah, just awful. Like in the reality, Paul has been very good to this hooker. His mouth is not.
No.
Like he's given her $400. She's made a good night's work. She's done well that evening. She's had a pretty nice time. He nails her, but he has just said the most horrible things to her.
And it's portrayed like he's just being silly. He's just being silly.
He's just charming the pants right off of her.
So anyways, enough about this hooker. We
can talk about her all night.
Yeah. So he goes home and he plans this boat trip. He's gonna get a yacht and take the boys sailing down from from Newport in Oregon.
No, it's Newport in L.A. because it leaves Los Angeles.
Where the fuck is Newport?
It's the northern tip of Orange County.
Huh.
Newport's a really rich town.
Okay.
So they leave from Newport and then they go
to Mazatlan.
Then they go through Panama, and then stop at an island in the middle of the Atlantic, and then they're to Spain.
No, they go Morocco and then up to
Italy,
essentially. On what are we gonna guess this boat as? A 35-footer?
Well, I think it's more like
it's a houseboat.
60. It's a yacht. It's like a 65-footer.
65-footer? That's a cruiser, man.
I think you have to be 65 feet to be a yacht.
I don't think you do. I did some yacht research recently for my book.
Well, you remember, of course, my popular Rayburn 88 yacht T-shirt.
Yeah.
That was an 88-foot yacht.
Hey, you know what? It's funny that you mentioned that because that's one of the boats that I researched in my...
was the Rayburn?
Yeah, the Rayburn.
It's a fine boat.
Yeah, it's a big-ass boat. 88
Big boat.
Well, anyways, my dad... The only reason I say a 35-foot is because my dad had a 35-foot, and this boat looks eerily similar to a 35-foot.
I think it's at least 50 feet. It's a big boat.
Okay. It's enough for 4 guys, but is it one that 4 ex-cons that know probably very little about ocean faring
were they all in the
across
Navy?
the fucking ocean?
Like you have to, again, it's one of those things where it isn't explicitly stated in the movie. You just have to assume 2 of the 3 or 3 of the 4 of these men were in the Navy.
Is it still... Okay, say you got boating experience. Is this a boat you take across the Atlantic Ocean?
That's what I'm saying. It's a 65-foot boat. I'm thinking it'll make it.
All right.
It's a big boat.
It's one of my biggest problems with this film is it's
they
like...
just go across the ocean.
They just, like, it's like taking a charter flight, like, from... L.A. to Long Beach. Like,
'Cause-
not a big fucking deal.
Isn't that the deal with a yacht, that you can make it across one of the majors in a yacht?
You know, I don't know if you noticed or not, but the fucking Titanic sunk in the Atlantic. It's
Well, I
not
know.
a safe trip, dude.
Well, no, it's
People
not.
die on it all the goddamn time.
I'm sure, but
Nutsacks with unbuttoned shirts probably should not take this trip,
okay,
but they do.
they do.
And nothing goes wrong. One thing goes wrong. Peter, they stop at Mazatlan, and Duke is being fucking weird. He's like, walks up to him while he's fishing, and he's like, hey, you want some coffee? Sure. And then Duke Mitchell takes a sip of his coffee and spits it in his face. Like, God damn it. You are such an asshole.
Yeah, this is where the characterization, like, and this is the character he's trying to put across. Like, what a crazy fun guy he is.
Zany man.
Yeah, it's like,
That
no,
is
you
not
are
fun. Hot coffee in your face is not fun.
Spit is icky.
icky. You never want to wear a beverage anyway.
Mm-mm. Especially when it's been in another human's mouth.
And then he rips off the guy's necklace that his mother gave him and says, don't fucking worry about it. And
It's
it's
not
like, my
a big
mom
deal, yeah.
gave me that. I've been wearing it around my neck for 18 fucking years. I'm going to worry about it.
It falls into the ocean. Slides down like miniature golf style through holes and around tubes and kaplunk into the ocean. Thanks, Paul. You spit coffee in my face. You tried to man kiss me, and then you laid on top of me and tore my necklace off that my mom gave me. You know, fucking, I've seen guys go up against Debo when they get their chain stolen,
Yeah.
man. That's a dick move, Duke Mitchell. So anyways, they make it finally across the ocean. No problem. They stop in Rome, and they're like, hey, Paulie, how long are we going to be here in Rome? He's like, well, I think about 4 weeks. 4 weeks? What are we going to do in these 4 weeks? That's too long. Hey, blah, 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 blah. Well, we're going to steal the Pope. The what? I'm sorry, what?
Okay, wait, whoa.
Huh?
You know, I was wondering about that. I was wondering about that wooden piece of furniture that you brought, but now I'm wondering about you, buddy.
We're here for
Okay, wait, the Pope?
the Pope.
The
yeah,
Pope.
because if every Catholic in the world gives him $1,
He didn't even do the math on this first.
No.
no, then he'll be rich.
Because then, was it, it's Peter is like, that's 850 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh shit, we'll only do 50 cents.
Hey, we don't need that much. We'll only do 50
Yeah.
cents. Which then later that math comes out to 126 million.
Which is
so-
not, nobody did any math
Yeah.
in this. The Mitchell math is not what they're teaching now in school.
So anyways, he's dropped this bomb while they're having spaghetti lunch, of course, you know, because I'm also racist. But,
They're not in Italy either. We should point this out.
Yeah.
That there was some footage either commissioned or bought that was shot, video or film that was made in Italy. Then they are just at a restaurant, probably in Palm Springs.
probably. It's got an outdoor patio, so of course that's Rome.
Yeah.
And then I like the shots of them turning their heads and looking around in front of postcards.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
cool.
just picture books.
Like, hey, it's me at the Colosseum. See? Here it is behind me.
It's like they went to a fucking travel agency and shot in front of the posters.
It's like Wayne's World's Kodachrome or whatever that
Yeah.
thing is. Hey, I'm in Delaware.
Yep.
Except for they're in Rome.
Yeah.
But, so Paul dresses as Guido Sarducci, essentially. He goes in there, he puts on a mustache and, like, a flat hat. Like, he is Italian guy completely, but he's like, walks up to this priest who's this priest? Is this, like, the
It's like the
Pope's
doorman.
receptionist?
It's like the doorman to the Vatican or something like
yeah,
that.
I don't get this
This
place
guy
that he
doesn't
goes
make
into.
any sense, right?
I'm here to see the Pope. I need to set up a meeting with the Pope. Well, you can't just do that. Are you kidding me? There's 10 million people asking to see the Pope every day. Well, yeah, but I got this real thing, you know. I got a rich guy on my boat, and he really wants to see the Pope before he dies, and he's gonna give $50,000 cash to whatever charity the Pope wants to give it to. $50,000? He's rich. I know that Duke Mitchell only has $50,000 on him.
But I guess that's the price that you can pay 50 G's
Seems
and
cheap.
get in front of the Pope.
Seems cheap.
I don't know.
Even in 1976,
If
I think
you're
you need
already
a
there,
little
like-
bit more money, just like bribe
Well-
to see the Pope. I think you need more money.
If you want the Pope to come to you, it's going to take more. But if you're already there and he's already there and you got 50, you can get in the room with him for 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, all right.
Well, and that doesn't even get them a private audience with
That
the
just
Pope.
gets some
No.
consideration.
Yeah, like they still have to sit in the waiting room with all the other schmucks.
And the only reason that they get the consideration is that there's supposed to be more on the way.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to die. He wants to give all his money to the church.
Right. He just wants to meet the Pope.
Yeah.
But, so the guy's like, I'll see what I can do. So he takes the cash, and Duke Mitchell and the boys, Paul and the boys, I guess they're waiting here, and so they kind of make a little bit of a plan, like you're gonna go around this way, like they're drawing on a fucking postcard map again.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, the essential part of the plan is the character named the Old Man happens to look exactly like the Pope.
Yep.
exactly,
Like he is the Pope's doppelganger.
indeed,
Mm-hmm.
So that's part one of the plan.
right. Well, there's another part one. Part one is we got to take care of this Peter getting laid problem.
Oh
which-
yeah, we don't want to go in. We don't want him to go into this situation with a loaded gun. we need to take care of that hard on.
And this guy looks like Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah, he does.
He really does.
And the other guy kind of looks like Rain Man Zarek from The
He
Doors.
does.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why the fucking music was so awesome. Is it's actually Keith Richards
And
and
the
Rain Man Zarek.
Acting is so bad.
So this is my very much least favorite part of the movie because it's icky. But they go into this bar, him and Peter's like, I need to get some ass,
And meanwhile, Paul's trying to work a deal for a Citron Maserati,
which isn't a thing.
which isn't a thing,
Yeah,
with the bartender.
And
He's
the
gonna-
guy's like,
he's-
yeah, I can do that for you.
The bartender's, doing cars on the side.
This guy will get you either a
I-
Rolls Royce or a Citron Maserati.
I think this is the thing that makes the least sense out of this whole movie is what sort of a deal is Paul trying to work with this bartender?
And is the bartender just leading him
Oh
on?
yeah, Citron Maserati. Just what do you got on you? I can, just give me some
sure,
starter
whatever.
money, and then you'll
Whatever you
never
want.
see me again, right?
I'll get you a one-way ticket to space, buddy.
Yeah.
You just pay up
Fuck, I'll get you, pick up full of gorillas, whatever you want.
$50,000 for a meeting with the Pope. I would have done it for $25, and you never would have met him. But I'll tell you, whatever you
I
want
want
to
to
hear,
take in
pally.
that $25. You got $100 worth of seed money. I can get you a Citron Maserati.
I'll go out and make it for you. I know it doesn't exist, but don't worry about that thing. It's fine. But Peter gets too drunk again. He can't do it. He's got to go up to his room. So the next day, Paul's
I
sitting
don't
out.
think it's the next day. I think they were drinking at a bar at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, okay, all right.
And then Peter's gotten pass out drunk by 11. And then Paul is able to keep his shit together, so he goes to the park drunk during the day.
I could see that because he's wearing that same sweet
Yeah.
purple sweater that he was wearing earlier.
And that Peter's still in bed. So that's what happened is they got up in the morning, started drinking. Peter didn't make it to lunch before he was passed out.
Yep.
Well, Paul finds this woman, a very large woman.
Yes.
Very large. Like, problem large.
Yeah.
And,
I found the treatment of this scene to be quite possibly more offensive to fat people than the scene with the black woman.
but I don't know, like, if you asked me why is it offensive, I would say because they,
Well, it's just like when he's putting his foot on her pantyhose because he can't get it off because she's so
all
big.
right,
or
all right.
whatever.
So he takes her up to Peter's room, and he's gonna like, hey, this is the one woman for you. Like, you need to bang this one. I got you a dame, type situation.
But
And
then
he drags her in.
he does the thing like he can't fit her through the door.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought he was like forcing her.
No, she wants in.
Okay.
She just can't get through the door.
All right, so then he takes her clothes off,
No, she takes her clothes off in the bathroom or something.
No, she just takes them off. She's like, I can handle
Yeah.
this, bud.
and he also takes his clothes off.
Well,
other than down
there's
to
enough
his
to
skivvies.
go around. Like they're gonna double team this one.
Little wobbly H,
Yeah,
London Bridges.
London Bridge.
Yeah. So
I don't know what that means.
the wobbly H or the London Bridge.
Either one.
Okay, make an H with your hands and then wobble it, and then think of two dudes and a girl.
Oh,
Then-
oh.
And the
Think-
London Bridge is if they touch hands on top.
Yeah, think of two dudes and a girl, and then have them put their hands up.
I believe another popular term is spit roast.
Oh. Oh my.
Yeah. Oh my.
Yeah. So
Yes. If Luke would have been involved, she could have become airtight, as
yeah,
they say.
Airtight's the other one.
Oh my god. I need to get on the Wikipedia a little more
it's
often.
not Wiki-
I don't
Wikipedia,
think it's on Wikipedia,
but it is on the internet.
Yeah.
Very much so. So then it's just he tosses her on the bed, wakes up Peter like, got it.
She wakes him up by crawling on top of him, and he's like, "Hello, where have you been all my life?"
But then it's just shenanigans.
It's shenanigans. They say they can't get her out of her pantyhose, but then they kind of do, and then they're like, "Wait, this is screwy. Let's leave." So then she chases him out because she's like, "No, you fucking dickholes brought me in here to, give me the
bang.
2-on-1. I'm getting the 2-on-1." So she rips the doors off the hinges. End scene. I am to assume she makes the sex to them quite a lot.
So is it offensive?
I think it is.
I thought it was, yeah. Just the whole, like, dragging her through. It wasn't as offensive as the watermelon and chicken thing, but, like, the whole, like, pretending like she doesn't fit through the door when she obviously fits through the door, and, like, trying to get her pantyhose off with the foot because they're on too tight when they weren't, like, yeah, she's big, but she's not that big.
I just couldn't tell what the fuck was going on in this scene. Like, it's just so piss poor, like, just...
Yeah.
But it's like, wait, what?
And they're slapping her on the ass.
Do they want to bang her, or is it all just a joke, or why aren't they banging her if it's not a joke? I just head scratcher.
No, when she pulls the door off wanting the sex, I'm pretty sure that's...
She pins him down and has her way with him.
They lost.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Get some. So...
I don't know if she wins by getting to have sex with those two.
Yeah, that's kind of
every
like...
pound she has, they have their own exponential gargoyle factor.
So it's meeting with the Pope time, and they bring him into this, like a Godfather's pizza room, basically. Like, it's just a
I feel like I've
dining
been to
room.
that restaurant, and it's in, like, fucking... just somewhere in, like, East LA.
This does not seem like the Pope's meeting room.
No.
Like, there's not very much...
I feel like I've been to this restaurant, and it's also where he stole that candle from for the end.
Yeah.
Because I remember that like a restaurant that had the sort of archway that had been filled in with bricks after the fact, and they had those candles there. And my grandma used to like it a lot.
It's less than impressive.
It is less than impressive for a room to meet the Pope.
One of the most powerful men on the planet to meet prospective people to come and kiss his ring.
Donors or whatever.
Yeah.
And that is quite the ring.
Yeah, well, it's the Pope. He's kind of a big deal. He's going to have a big-ass ring. You got to kiss his ring. It's going to be a big-ass ring.
Originally, the working title of the film was Kiss the Ring.
Ah.
If you did not know.
Well, I didn't know that. So, there's lots of other people there. Peter meets the Pope. He kisses the ring. Paul, what's the other guy's name? Luke meets the Pope, but he kisses the ring. And then Paul comes up and kisses the ring. And then he whispers in the Pope's ear. And he's like, look what I get over here. It's a loaded gun, a loaded pistol. That's how you nab the Pope, is you just walk in with a loaded pistol and be like, hey, the Pope, you need to come in this room with me because I'm packing heat, buster.
Yeah, if you don't want things to get messy, come with me.
And at this point, I think the Pope waves his little hand, and 18 guys come out with fucking guns, machine guns, not pussy little pistols.
Yeah.
Blow this fucker away, and then everybody else in the room, he says, the Pope just waves his hand, and they're all like, we're blessed.
That's when you find out that half the room's security plants.
Yes, yeah, exactly. All those people that just look like family stand up and blow that fucker away.
The man has his own army.
Yes.
It's an independent
not
state.
As a joke.
It's
literal army.
He has his own army. Yeah, doesn't like Switzerland or somebody like provide troops for him too? I mean, he's got manpower like nobody's business.
There's sizable countries that have less men who are proficient in killing than the Pope.
Well, you are the Pope.
You're the fucking Pope.
You're the fucking Pope.
You don't
And if the
just
Pope
nab
goes,
the Pope.
hey, you need to be in my army, and you're a Catholic, you are not going to say no.
I would say no.
You're not a Catholic.
Well, I know, but there's a lot of Catholics that are riding the fence about stuff. I mean, I'm Catholic, but I still use condoms and shit. Whatever.
Blasphemy.
Yeah. All those mob guys, they're all Italian. I don't think that the Pope has too much power over everybody.
Well, they don't use condoms.
Yeah.
They just punch the woman in the stomach repeatedly afterwards. But that's Duke Mitchell's form of birth control.
I need to go brush my teeth. I got a bad taste in my mouth because of you, Sam.
That's a bad joke.
Yeah. So anyways, he leads the Pope in the back room, and he brings in the old man, who's, as Sam mentioned, his character's name is Old Man. Mm-hmm. That's it. It is in the credits as Pope/Old Man. They couldn't have taken the time to give him a name. Why not, who's one of the other, Matthew, St. Matthew. Why couldn't he be Matthew?
He's the old man.
4 minutes, Duke Mitchell. Actually, I did in 10 seconds. Give the guy a fucking name.
Yeah.
Make him one of the apostles as well. Anyways, so they pull the old switcheroo. Hey, take these
Pope switcheroo.
The clothes off there, Pope, and you put them on, and you take this fake mustache, Pope, and these glasses, and basically the shot changes where they just spit it. The side by side. Oh, now the Pope is over here.
Yeah. So here's a question that I'm going to burn right now. you're the Pope doppelganger and the Pope. The old man are standing there looking at each other. They realize they look just like each other and they have to undress.
Mhm.
They look at each other's wieners.
Fucking A.
Fucking
You
A.
better believe it.
All right.
Do you think the Pope's got a bigger dong? Because he's, God's
Or does it,
representative
like-
on Earth, and,
Does he the penis doppelganger? Like, wow.
It even hangs to the left the
It
same
even
way.
hangs to the left.
Strange. I don't know. I imagine the Pope penis is a little bit more powerful.
I don't know if I'm in the room with the Pope and I get a chance to look. I'm totally looking.
Does do you suppose the Pope wears, I'm assuming he wears underoos of some sort, but are they the type of underoos
I
that
feel
you
like-
could put in pants afterwards?
I don't know. I feel like the Pope wears boxer shorts and sock suspenders.
Our
Yep.
modern Pope, our current Pope, Pope Francis.
I don't know
is
which
his name?
Pope it is now.
But
We've been going through popes like candy.
this Pope, this Duke
That's
Mitchell's
true.
Pope. Do you see this guy wearing boxers? I think he wears like holy, like maybe some sort of anointment type thing.
It's like a 12-foot rag that they turn into like a almost wrapped diaper or something that he wears.
I don't know.
I think he wears boxer shorts and sock suspenders.
Okay, all right.
I feel like that's like if you didn't, you already once you're the bishop, you should already be sock suspenders and boxer shorts. But once you make it to the Pope, if you haven't got there yet, they're like, "I'm sorry, we're taking your BVDs."
Yep.
No,
You're the Pope. You are not allowed to wear tidy whities.
Nobody takes my BVDs.
Well, they don't
And-
want him to have underwear lines.
Yes, exactly. And mind you, sir, these are quite dingy. I believe these are supposed to be white, and they are tan.
What do you want from me? I'm busy.
Yeah.
Very busy man. So anyways, they take the Pope back to the boat, and they put him in the podium room, and it's a prayer stand, Sam. That's what they're called.
The prayer stand, yeah.
Prayer stand. You kneel down on the bottom board and put your hands in a little prayer thing, and you are able
Pray.
to pray. Yeah.
That
Payoff.
seems like lazy. Fucking lazy is what that is.
Then kneeling down on the ground and
No, it has a spot for your hands.
That's
you
nice,
don't even have
dude.
to hold your
Those-
hands
So-
up
some of
there.
if you're the Pope, you probably pray for like
All
3 or
right,
4
yeah,
fucking
so
hours
I'm
at a
gonna tell
time.
you what right now. You guys weren't raised Catholic, and I was. You sometimes have to kneel for like 45 fucking minutes.
And if you're the Pope, I
It-
bet you it's 5 times that long.
So, like, midnight mass is like 15 minutes on your knees with somebody speaking Latin. You don't understand a word of it. And you cannot, like, you almost fall down when you get up because your knees have fucking had it from the kneeling. And they're even padded, and you can't take it. The 45 fucking minutes of kneeling. It is unbearable. It's like, I think it's the reason that half the people give up on the church is the fucking kneeling. It's bad.
But you got to be penitent.
I know. I can be penitent sitting down. I guess you can't.
Hey, it could also save your life if you got booby traps coming at you. Being penitent.
Oh yes, yeah. God damn, that's a real fucking reach. Man, you can. That's like the reach of the year for a joke right there.
I chose
Poorly.
So, anyways, the kidnapping gets announced on the news, and hey, the Pope is gone. And we found a letter, and they want 50 cents from every Catholic, which I guess 50 cents from every Catholic comes
One
through.
would think that it should be half of 840, which is 420,
right,
not 120.
6.
Well, some of those Catholics, they're like, well, we can just get a new Pope.
Yeah, just do the little smoke thing out of the top of St. Peter's Square, and
How much do you think is in the Vatican?
money?
They keep their own fucking gold, don't they?
Money?
I think they keep gold, don't they?
More than 126 million.
Well, how many billion? I mean, it's like
Yeah.
trillion. Do they have trillions of dollars there?
Probably not.
They might.
I think that they have quite a bit of money.
Quite a bit of money.
Quite a bit of money.
I mean, they're running their own damn country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they have more money than most countries. They might not have more money than, U.S., Canada, China, places like that. But,
China, yeah, because they have lots of money.
well,
Wow.
they got 3
Gotta
billion
edit that
people. If
one.
everybody has $1, they got more money, right?
I gotta edit that out. Not smart. Doctor, huh?
Hurrah, praise.
Yeah, they're all
you may
poor.
take that one while you're at it.
Jesus.
That's the second biggest economy, Jackie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 2.
They're probably going to overtake us soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Brazil is actually in
pretty
top
not
5
paying
now.
attention.
Yeah, Mexico is not as bad as you'd think. It's crazy. Anyway.
Anyways, so the Pope starts talking to the boys on the boat, like Peter and Luke, and he's kind of making pals. He's making his rounds. He's poping it up, as I like to call it. He's being very popely.
Popey.
Like,
And then
nice, gentle, compassionate, understanding. He cares about these men because they are the children of God,
Yes.
whether good or bad.
He's the Pope.
He's the fucking Pope.
We have to go back for a second, though, because the old man is left to be the Pope. And it's like, okay, get on the plane at this time and you'll get back to L.A.
Uh-huh.
I'd hang out. I'd just see how long I could pull off being the Pope.
I would milk the shit out of that Pope.
He probably
Who's
still-
gonna fucking say, why even leave the note?
He probably made it to the plane because he figured after about 3 hours, he's not going to pass. Like, no, I'm not the Pope.
Here's the deal. As we discussed how much money the Vatican has buried in the walls, and you're the Pope, saying
Yeah.
you have quite a considerable amount of control over that money.
Yes, you do.
And if you are the fake Pope and you're doing
Yes.
fake popery, and you just
Wouldn't it be easier to swindle the money by
swindle
fake
the money and be
poping?
like, hey, Duke, I can double that 126
Yeah.
million, and nobody's even gonna
well,
fucking
we'll
notice.
get to that at the end when I tell you what really happens in this film.
Why even kidnap? Just
I have an answer for that.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
So I like, long story short, I like the plan of just swapping popes. And you got your boy's the Pope now.
Your boy's the Pope. You got a man on the inside of the Vatican. That's the hardest thing in the world to do.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, the Pope's wandering around the boat, and he's being just the greatest, nicest, most likable character ever captured on film. Because he's the Pope.
He's the Pope.
And he's teaching them life lessons and talking about their families and history and, like, drawing parables and illustrations and, like, I understand where you're coming from. Now, let me tell you a little story about a man I like to call Jesus. And then he changes Peter and Luke from criminals into
Men with hope.
reborn men with hope. I'm like halfway across the Atlantic
I like
Ocean.
the Pope. Like,
I really like the Pope.
because I think he steals your heart when they're like, well, it's wine. What else does the Pope drink? And he's like, the Pope likes a little brandy.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, I
He's
like that part.
laid back. He's chill. He's fucking cool.
Yeah, the Pope's awesome.
He's literally cool.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, wait, what? There's a likable character in this film?
No, it's like for all the things that Duke Mitchell doesn't get, he gets the Pope.
He gets the fucking Pope. Well, his character doesn't get the fucking
No, his
Pope.
character doesn't get the Pope.
His character is a dickhead to the Pope.
Yeah.
Well,
he's really sore about the Holocaust.
The Pope comes up, and Duke Mitchell's on the back of the boat, and the boys and the Pope now have a plan. They're going to talk Paul out of this kidnapping thing.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a bad idea, Paul. Take me back. So he comes up to Duke Mitchell, who's standing on the back of the boat, and he's like, maybe this isn't such a good plan, Paul. God loves you, and I love you, and the boys really care about you, and we all just want you to be safe and happy. And what do you say we turn this boat around? And Duke Mitchell goes on a fucking soapbox.
He just gets on a tirade about the papacy not being responsible for what it should be responsible for, and then sidelines really hard towards the Holocaust, like that's the Catholic Church's fucking fault somehow.
That doesn't line up to any of the events in history
At all.
Yeah,
completely.
like, why didn't you stop the Holocaust?
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you
But
really...
he says, why didn't you stop the Holocaust?
He
You,
was
the
probably
Pope.
the Pope then.
He had to have been a child. How old is this Pope if he's the guy that can stop the Holocaust? This is nigh 50 years.
Well, no, it's only
That's
like
like
30
30
years.
40 years. 45 to 76.
Well, this Pope is
30
alive,
years.
but he's
Okay,
not the
30.
Pope. He's like
not
just a
he's
priest
not going to be the
somewhere,
Pope.
right?
He's not going to be the Pope. It's ridiculous. And then he's like saying about like, oh, Mussolini. You could have stopped Mussolini. Well, Mussolini had nothing to do with the fucking Holocaust,
Yeah, no,
Duke Mitchell.
there's
nothing.
He's connected dots that are too far apart.
way far apart. bud.
And he did like have a defensible position with the poverty for a second, but when he veered into the Holocaust, he was just off the reservation.
this is not making sense, Duke
Doesn't
Mitchell.
make any sense, Duke Mitchell.
Well, so the Pope is like, all right, whatever. I'll give you a little bit more time. I mean, I am the Pope. We'll see what happens. So Peter's out at the back fishing one day, and the Pope walks up to him, and he's like, St. Peter was a fisherman as well. Maybe you can be a cool guy like him. Whatever the popes do. And
Peter asks him what kind of fish the Pope likes.
oh yeah.
He's like, I like cod, but it's very scarce in these waters.
Yeah, the Pope eats cod? That's fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like one of us.
Yeah.
He's just a cool guy.
I bet he uses Charmin toilet paper too, and not that cheap shit.
Yeah, no, just real laid back. He likes a good deer and a good story and over his glass of brandy over next to a fire. Just a real laid back.
He's interested in helping.
Yeah. So he walks away, and as soon as he walks away, Peter catches a fish, and he's like, "Hey, the Pope, I caught a fish!" And he guts it. Inside is his fucking chain that his mom gave him.
Yep.
Miracle.
Yeah, and
Pope
it was
miracle.
a cod.
And it was a cod.
And it was a cod.
Yes, that's 2 miracles in one fucking thing.
Double whammy miracle.
3, if you count that Peter caught a fish at all, because he doesn't seem like a very smart guy.
He doesn't look like a good fisherman.
That all 3 is all you need to be sainted.
Yeah.
He did it in a fucking afternoon.
Oh, on a boat with 3 nutsacks.
This is the best Pope of all time.
Yeah, he is.
So the boys and the Pope have a meeting with Paul, and he's gonna. They're like,
this is my favorite part of the meeting. So Duke Mitchell comes down, Paul comes down, and he's like, "Who's fucking driving the boat?" I'm like, "Well, you were driving the boat, and now you are not."
yeah. He says something religious too, like, "Who's driving the boat? The spawn of Satan?" Huh? Hey?
What?
Yeah, you nobody, I guess. So the boys have found religion. They're convinced on the popeness.
They can't steal the Pope. He's too nice.
He's too nice. Let's take this Pope back, and I'm gonna be one of his boys now. I'm done with this life that you brought us into, Paulie. I'm gonna be try to go for cardinal, bishop. I don't know.
Oh hell, just hang out.
Hang out at the
Yeah,
Pope.
maybe they just
Hang out.
they peel potatoes or something.
Yeah.
Like they're gardeners at the Pope's house.
Gardeners.
Oh, the Pope's gardener would be fun. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
That would be fun.
So they're gonna leave. They want to take the boat and bail, and Paul fucking loses it. He
loses his shit.
Big time.
I killed for you.
I killed 7 men for you.
7
men.
guys. I shot 7 men. No, you didn't.
Well, you've shot 4, 5 if you count your friend.
4's a lot, Paul.
It is a lot, but your buddy got the other 3.
Yeah, you're stretching the truth a little
And
bit.
whoever you killed before doesn't count because it wasn't for these guys.
Yeah, right. So he says something like, if you hurt one hair on these guys' heads, I'll kill 100 priests
Per a guy.
per guy. Now get out of here and God bless you.
God bless you.
The fuck.
That was such a weird speech.
And then they have a group hug with the Pope.
With the Pope. All right, bring it in.
Yep. And then you
I
see
vented.
them.
I'm good. Bring it in.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you see him driving away on the spare boat.
No, he gives the Pope his sweet jacket too.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
with the naked lady on the back. That jacket
jacket
was
is
something
Fucking
else.
American Eagle on the
Here-
side of it.
Here you go, the Pope. Here's the jacket. It's badass.
Thank you. I do. I like it. I like this jacket. It makes me want to jump a Trans Am over a moving train, because the Pope can do that.
Yeah, well, so
There's no law against
After-
jumping a fucking Trans Am over a train if you're the Pope.
I think after this, little escapade the Pope has, he goes home, and later years he'll wear that jacket when he watches the Father Dowling mysteries.
Oh, yeah.
And then when they come in, like, "Are you all right?" Then it's like, "Hey, the Pope likes a little excitement,
I like a little bit more brandy too.
a little bit more brandy, a little excitement." Father Dowling.
So they bail. Paul stays on the yacht and he sails back to Newport. Again, no problems.
No problems. He's going solo this time.
Yeah. And his wife tells him that or not his wife,
Girlfriend
whatever. Yeah, his
thing.
girlfriend thing. He tells him that they killed, in quotes, killed Giorgio, the guy from the hit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So they go and visit his grave, and it's pretty stupid looking.
And then Duke just throws a flower on it, like, fuck you.
you.
I miss you. But he just tosses that rose kind
Say
of
hi to your mother for
disrespectfully.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it's Christmas time, and on the news, the Pope has been returned, and Peter and Luke have been given sainthood. Wow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
no.
Because they're heroes. They
Yeah.
brought the
I
Pope
think
back.
they're just calling him that.
No, they say Saint Peter and Saint Luke.
By the reporter. Maybe he's just embellishing. That reporter is freelancing. He's embroidering. They're not really saints. They're just good.
Well, it seems like they're going to live with the Pope.
Well, they are, but you
They're
don't
his
have to be a
boys.
saint to live with the fucking Pope.
Well, I don't know, man.
Hey,
You have to
but
perform 3 miracles after you die in order to become a saint.
Yeah. The ransom has been distributed to the children of the world.
The crippled children of the world.
$126 million.
To crippled children
Crippled
around
children.
the world.
Mm-hmm.
regardless of sex, race, or creed.
Yes. Well, he is the Pope.
Just as long as they have some physical disability, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they don't even have to be Catholic to receive monies.
So, inherently, Duke Mitchell has done a real good deed
Yeah.
for the world. But it's actually the Pope that did it, so fuck you, Duke Mitchell. Paul visits the horse track, and he's there. He's got a Billy Jack hat on. I fucking love it.
Yeah. Goes to the track. Looks like he doesn't win.
There is zero exposition about this. Zero. There's one of the guys, it took me 2 times, but there's one of the guys from the beginning of the film there at the horse track, and he whacks him. He shoots him in the back of the head as the ponies run by.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's payback, because at the beginning of the film, they're going to whack Giorgio and Paul after the hit. They clean up their mess. They thought that he was going to get locked up and be out of their hair, but they're going to whack him.
And they couldn't because he's on a boat.
He's on a boat.
Pulling the Pope.
So they whack Giorgio, and he's like, well, fuck you. I'm going to get to you guys before you get to me.
Yeah. Makes it back, and he's like, good thing I went on that Pope grab.
It is shitty, though, because it's just, hey, the Pope's back in town. Then he's at the horse track, and he shoots a guy in the back of the head.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah, but he has that lighter that looks like a gun, so that's how he's covering himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't shoot that guy.
Yeah.
This is just a lighter.
Just a lighter.
Just a lighter.
And my badass Billy Jack hat.
Mm-hmm.
If it's another guy at his house and he's in there getting on with a lady, they're not doing it properly. He's got his underoos on, and their crotches are very far apart from each other. With lots of kissing and groping.
That was probably one of those where there's only so much film, and that guy has a hard on and she doesn't like it. It's like, fine, just lay there and do whatever. I only have 3 feet of color.
I've heard a couple tales about this. I recently did a little bit of research about if people get boners while they're filming sex scenes, and for the most part, actors do not, because there's lots. It's not a comfortable. It's not a comfortable situation either. You got cameras, lights. It's hot there. You don't know the person. It's not sexy at all. But I've heard tale of some boners happening, and usually the actress, they're trying to be professional, and sometimes it can't be helped. I will watch football and eat popcorn and get boners sometimes. I mean, they just happen, So who's to say? But I did hear tale of one very well-known actor. I'm guessing Val Kilmer. He's an ejaculator.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have no evidence of who it is, but I had heard tale that one of the more popular men, when they have sex scenes, goos his pants a little. So maybe this guy gooed his pants, and she's just trying to keep the goo off of her.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, that bed's screwed up. Gotta wash those sheets.
Well, he gets iced.
Yeah, he gets iced. He gets shot in the face twice.
Yeah, making sure.
Yeah.
Shoots him through the eye, but then he plugs him through the mouth just to make sure he's dead.
And he goes in and finds the lady. She's hidden in the closet, and he can't see her, so she comes sneaking back out after she thinks he's left. But I guess he gets her.
I think he kills her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why does he kill her?
Witnesses thing.
Witnesses. Well, she never sees his face, though.
I know. He's hung around too long. You're like, wow, shit. I should have just left. Now I have to kill you.
Yeah.
He was probably headed to the fridge.
Then didn't Paul and the girlfriend go on a skiing vacation?
So they go on this deal out of town that will coincide with this dance party in a barn later that night, so he can get the third guy at the barn square dance business.
He beats the shit out of that guy at the square dance, basically.
Yeah.
He takes him into the back room and whacks him with the phone, and then it's all in slow motion.
This was a weird scene.
Not a good fight scene.
Oh, it's one of my favorite because it's just so shitty.
Weird.
Yeah.
Then he stabs him in the stomach
with
it's a dagger
or like
a letter
Raphael's side
it's
blade.
It's just a long dagger. It's weird. Like,
Yeah,
where'd you get that?
Interesting instrument of death. So Paul's back at home and he's with the wife. It's still Christmas time, and
It's now Christmas, I think.
I thought it was Christmas before.
Christmas was on the way.
Yeah,
I don't know.
This is Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, because he's got a. This is when he lights the candle.
Yeah, but
Right.
they're talking about fire. Like, oh, what a great fire. What do you think about fire? Well, fire is good, but it can be bad. It can burn buildings and people and
The forest.
The forest, but it can be good too because it can keep you warm. The fuck did you just say, lady?
Yeah.
Are you stupid?
Yep.
So this is what he has to put up with to live in that house.
Oh my god, I would have just stayed in Rome, buddy.
Yeah.
This is not one you come back to, Paul. So whether good or bad, Paul's gonna light a big candle, the biggest anyone's ever seen, and he's like,
And it's not. It's just one of the. It's a restaurant candle.
yeah.
And we should say that the Pope has asked him to light a candle at Christmas.
Yeah.
For him.
You wait here, because I might never come back. So he goes to a church, goes inside, lights his restaurant candle.
Well, he snuffs out other people's candles first.
Dick
like
move.
a
Well,
dick.
it's fucking Paul.
He's a dick.
And then stuff happens? Question mark. I am going to say nothing more about what happens because I have no fucking clue what happens here.
Well, the statues light up.
Uh-huh.
And the candles all blow out and then reignite.
And there's horror stings.
And
The eyes on the
eyes.
statues.
Now I know you have a
Turn into
theory
flashlights.
about this entire film, but I want to give Jackie a shot at it first because I will admit I have no fucking idea what happens at the end of this film. None.
okay.
Jackie, you gotta guess what happens here.
Well, God shows himself to Duke.
Okay, all right, by making statues' eyes glow and blowing out candles.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
He makes
And
his
then lighting
presence
them back
known.
up. Yeah.
okay,
And that he is real and that the Catholic Church is the one true church. And it freaks him out because he tried to snatch the Pope.
okay.
And so he runs for it because it freaks him out. Because God's like, get the hell out of my house, piece of shit.
I don't know about that.
Okay, so God's saying, you beat it, Buster, you're not welcome. So does Paul just go home? Like, fuck this shit, I'm out! And goes home. What happens with Paul, Jackie?
I think he runs the hell out of there.
Yeah.
But not before he, I don't know, knocks over somebody else's candle and burns down the fucking church because that's the kind of guy he is.
Okay, all right.
And then he just goes back and he's like, yep, I did it.
Life goes on.
Life goes on.
Obla-dee-obla-da. All right,
Huh.
Sam, it's your turn. What's
Okay.
this big grandiose idea you got in your head?
Well, so what happens? The Pope snatch is always the plan from the beginning.
Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, they bring the podium out of the
And that the Pope,
out of the prison essentially. They got the podium essentially the whole time.
everything goes according to Paul's plan up until the point at the end of the church.
Okay.
So what happens is he's in prison with a guy who looks exactly like the Pope. Was when he starts planning all.
They're
this.
bros. They've been bros for life.
however long that they've been. That Paul's been in prison.
No,
And-
it's longer than that. The mob guys at the beginning talk about 30 years that these guys been palling around. These four
Okay.
guys.
so he looks incredibly like the Pope.
Very much so. In fact, it's the same actor.
That's when this Pope deal starts rolling. Is in prison. Now he knows that he himself cannot remove the bitterness from his friends.
They're so
Only
bitter.
the Pope can. He never intends to ransom the Pope. He wants to give his friends to the Pope because the Pope is the only person that can really give them hope back for the world. He himself is too evil, and he feels that he is the yin to the Pope's yang. That's why he yells at the Pope.
Okay, so
Now-
he's going to have the Pope exercise their nasty thoughts.
Well, he's like, you know, he goes on the tirade at the bottom just because he likes to be a drama queen. But ultimately, he's giving his friends to the Pope because they're better off with him. This was his plan the whole time because he already has a honey of a deal with this blonde lady. He's going to be okay.
Yeah, I have some questions about that as well, but go
Now,
continue.
the offer for the whack on these casino guys is just an opportunity. Like, well, this is how I'm going to pay for the Pope deal. I got to take this so that I can pay for the Pope deal. So all of his, you know, he accomplishes all of his goals by giving his friends to the Pope and also getting the Pope to, you know, do something about those kids. Sure, he doesn't, you know, the Holocaust thing, and nobody can undo that, and he's still really sore about it, but what is the Pope really going to do there? Now, at the end of the movie, the Pope, who, you know, he's the Pope, he knows what's going on with Paul.
He knows the score.
He knows the score. He knows that, you know, Paul did all this so he could take his friends, and that Paul thinks he's beyond redemption.
You know, the Pope, he's in the know because he's got a cell phone line straight to God.
He does. And he's, you know, he's like, you know, Paul, you're not above redemption. I think he says something to that effect in the movie. And when he says light a candle on Christmas Eve, he's essentially given him some time to tie up any loose ends, which he does by killing all those guys.
Sure.
But then he lights the candle and he brings it to the church, and he's been saved.
That's the signal.
And that's when he's smiling when he's running out, because he's like
smiling?
He's smiling when he
I don't
runs
think
out.
He's smiling.
He does. He goes like he's like he is like when he sees the lights, he's very jovial when all of the laser show is happening with Jesus, and he's like,
I thought he looked like he was terrified.
No, he's
he looks terrified, Sam.
I think he looks quite jovial, and he's.
Jovial, like Santa.
Yeah, like
no, he
Santa.
doesn't look like Santa.
But it's not like I'm terrified. He's like, oh my God, it's real, the Jesus, and he sprints out of there to go tell the blonde lady that it's real. And he runs through the front door, and she's like, why are you sprinting? And he's like, well, one, I was already wearing this jogging suit, and I had to, I mean, when in Rome, huh? And two, the Jesus is real. He just put on a Pink Floyd show down at the church. You should have seen it.
That's one of the stupidest things I've ever
That's
heard
exactly
in my life.
what happened.
We're all now dumber
No,
for
no,
hearing
no.
it. May God have mercy on your soul.
The end of
Not
the movie
it at all.
The end of the movie is the redemption of the character, and I'm also taking external information into this because in Massacre Mafia style, he does the exact opposite thing. The character's more likable, but it made it to theaters basically because you can't do all these bad things and not pay for them, and this is him trying to have the character of there is redemption in this character.
I think God comes down and says, "Hey, buddy, I'm here." Statues and stuff.
Yeah.
And Duke Mitchell says, "I reject you. I'm out. I'm going back to killing."
No, he's run back to say it's real.
Yeah.
They probably go for ice cream.
I think, here's the deal. I think that we could all figure out God's probably got bigger things going on than coming down and saying hi to Duke Mitchell. Like, I know he's omnipotent and stuff, but
Well, I think that's one of the problems. Like that, there's sort of the ego of the filmmaker makes it into the character.
Oh boy, you think?
Because it's like the character feels that he's as big as the Pope. Like at times you feel like Paul is trying to be the yin to the Pope's yang, sort of a deal.
Okay, let's get to the biggest question, or the second biggest question, because I think that you've elaborated on the biggest. I don't agree with you, but what happens to the fake Pope?
Okay, that's in here too. So he realizes after about 3 hours he's not going to be able to pull the deal.
Okay.
So he just gets on the plane and goes home.
Oh shit, I don't know Latin.
Yeah, he was never really all that bitter to begin with.
No,
Like, you can tell.
That, now, I would say jovial is a word that I would use to describe the old man.
He just wants to do some reading, so he helps Paul out with this score for the sake of Luke and Peter, but then he gets back on the plane, heads back to L.A., and he's just sort of reading mystery novels and just hanging out, enjoying his twilight years.
Ironically, also watching Father Dowling.
Father Dowling Mysteries, which will
Drinking
happen.
brandy.
Well, they won't happen until the mid-'80s, but...
Well, close enough.
Yeah.
Jackie, you got a theory about the fake Pope?
I think that he got busted because somebody was like asking him a question about the Bible, and he was like, "Fuck, I've never read that book." Yeah, he kind of gave him this blank look and said, "I'll be right back. I have to go to the bathroom." And then he boogied on out of there and went and got on the plane and went home.
So, somebody comes up to him and kisses his ring. "Sir, why is it that God has cursed my poor mother with Alzheimer's and she can't remember who I even am? Can you tell me why God would do such a thing?" And he looks down and says, "'Cause ninjas?"
Because ninjas. He just looks at her
That's
and goes,
not the Pope!
he's like, "Lady, shit's tough all over."
So, okay. Who's next?
How long do you think Paul was in prison? Because it's like he has all these deals set up. Like, he can't have been in there that long
No.
to have this girlfriend and all this other shit. And do you do like 5 years for icing people? Or I just don't get, like, what did he... you have no idea what's going on with any of that.
None at all. It seems like the number 6 months comes into my mind when you ask me that.
Yeah, 6 months.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like much.
He got
Everyone's
arrested for
treating him
cocaine.
like he's he's the saint of prison and he's only been there for 6 months.
Yeah, he's the Pope of prison.
He is the Pope of prison. That's what I'm saying with this whole yin to the Pope's yang thing. Like, he accomplishes, his character experiences the journey that he was set out to. Like, he got the Pope to give the money to the kids. He got the guy's hope back. The old man got to go on a boat ride. And ultimately, he didn't have too much excitement because he just goes back to L.A. to his novels.
Man, if you're correct about this, and I don't think you are, but if you are, that's one hell of a narrative written on napkins and then very poorly executed.
Oh, yeah.
Did the boys never ask, "Hey, what's with that fucking prayer stand? Like, why are we dragging this prayer stand around?"
You don't worry about that.
Yeah, don't worry about that. No, what's the deal with the prayer stand? Seriously, because we keep dragging it around. It's in the car with us. There's not room for a fucking prayer stand in here, Paul.
Yeah, I don't. But, they were really good about showing you the prayer stand, though, in several scenes. So that you
they
knew
put it in the
that they
car,
had it.
pack it into the boat, set it up in a room.
Yeah.
It's like during Benny Hill scenes.
So
Sped
here's
up
my
footage and
question.
all that shit. Yep, go ahead.
Do you think that they gave the Pope, like, the nicest room on the boat?
Yeah.
Or do you think that Duke had the nicest room and he's like, screw that guy?
I think the Pope got the nicest room.
I don't think Paul even has a room.
I think he sleeps up top.
He just wanders around the boat. I don't think Paul sleeps.
No, it's too much cocaine.
He's a robot.
Yeah.
Yep. Those fingernails were creepy.
Who is John?
John.
If you IMDb this film and then look at the cast list, Paul, Duke Mitchell, is first, then the Pope, then Pope/old man, then Peter, then Luke, then the lady, and then John. And then down the road, there's another John, which I'm assuming is just the character's name of one of the
Mafia guys.
But before Giorgio, John.
John has to be the first
Ooh, is he the crackhead that's in the prison and he's like, you're going to stay off the shit, right?
I think that John
No, you don't get to be fifth down the line if you're a crackhead in prison at the beginning of the film. John in this film, in order of importance, is higher than Giorgio.
I think John has to be the connection to the mob that hires him.
He's in it for like 10 seconds.
He's in the beginning and the end of the movie, though.
I don't know. Here's my deal. Paul, Peter, Luke, John. There is no Matthew, which again, like, just name the old man Matthew.
Is the old man John?
No, because
he's
it's
the old
Pope
man
/ old man.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is John? He's got to have more importance than what you're saying because he's one of the apostles.
Well, he's not in the movie.
I don't think he's in the movie.
I think they just put the credit in there.
I think Duke Mitchell shot the credits, ran the credits, and that's the original credits.
Well, no,
scenes,
they wouldn't.
And then
there
they
is
just
no
edit it out.
Yeah, I don't know that left John on the cutting room floor because this thing was 3 hours long.
Yeah,
it should be noted that the movie, because it's got enough story for 2 movies, was a sprawling 3-hour work print that they had to whittle down to 2.
Yeah, actually an hour and a half. It's 90 minutes.
90 minutes.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a, John, eh? And I'm going to burn one more because we're on the same line. Can we draw parables at all to Paul, Luke, and Peter? To the actual apostles, John, or Paul, Luke, and Peter?
Well, the fisherman thing was about it.
Yeah, there's that. Paul, from memory, I think he was Jesus's bestie.
Yeah.
They were pretty tight.
Yeah.
Told him secrets and things like that. And John the Baptist, who's not in this, I know that he was the guy that really hated the Roman Empire, got exiled to
Well, nobody
places.
really liked them.
Yeah, but Peter was the one that sold out, or that
Judas.
That was Judas.
No, that's not the same sellout. There's 2 sellouts. Peter's the one that denies Christ. Like, do you know this man? And he says, I don't 3 times, or I don't, and then a crow cries 3 times. To signify that when you will betray me, or you will deny me. Does Peter deny the Pope? Is the Pope, if they're apostles, is the Pope Jesus?
No.
So why even name them the apostles?
I'm not sure.
Because it looked nice.
It just sounds cool?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is kind of religion-y.
Kind of religion-y.
Yep.
I'm not sure. I think I like my theory that the Pope is Jesus.
And
Peter denies him by kidnapping him in the first place. No, my theory sucks.
No, Peter's the guy that...
Fisher guy.
The zero brains guy.
Yeah.
Paul's the brains.
Paul's the brains and the muscle
and
the looks.
I guess. He's got it all. Hey.
Who else? I got one more.
I only had answers this time around.
Jackie?
I'm good.
If Paul is in prison and he gets out and he does his score for $50,000 and then blows that $50,000 on this Pope deal, where the fuck is the money?
What money?
He's got this sweet place with the blonde lady.
The blonde lady tells him that he can have everything. Don't worry about anything.
That's her money?
It's her money.
The cars are hers?
Yeah, that's why he pulls
the boat's hers?
He pulls the hit just so he doesn't have to spend 50 G's of her cash
on this
the
Pope
business deal. Yeah.
Huh.
She's very considerate.
What's she do?
She just waits for him to get back.
I mean like cash-wise.
Is loaded from her husband.
Previous husband.
Yep.
All comes
invented
together.
closed-circuit television for security purposes. She's got more money than anybody except the Pope.
Aha! It is quite clear now then.
Yeah, that's why Paul sets up this whole deal. Is because he's set, but his friends aren't. He can't bring them in on the blonde lady, nor does he want to bring himself out of the blonde lady, frankly.
Yeah. I don't know. He seems like he'd bring his friends in on the blonde lady. Wobbly H again.
Hey, well, I mean, you can't wobbly H.
That's airtight with a little DP.
He's more concerned with the lifestyle.
You're not gay unless your balls touch. Oh, our balls are clearly touching because they're both up this lady's butt.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Final thoughts on Duke Mitchell's Gone with the Pope. Jackie, what are you going to tell people when they say, hey, you saw Gone with the Pope? What did you think?
I thought it was crazy fun.
Crazy fun.
I liked the fat lady scene. I thought it was extremely offensive with the fat lady and the black lady. But, overall, it was just kind of a fun trip. You just kind of liked it.
Mm-hmm.
It was an adventure. It moved okay. I liked it. I'm going to say do.
Okay, Sammy?
Oh, absolutely do.
That's as far as you're going to elaborate? You don't have anything to add?
Other than exactly what happened in the movie, no.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I've gone with the Pope. But I don't want to tell people, like, I say, yeah, you should watch that, and I don't tell them anything, hoping they haven't seen the trailer, they don't read it, because if you watch this thing clean, not knowing there was going to be a Pope heist, boy, wouldn't that be a surprise, huh?
With the Pope?
Because they kind of really, like, it's unfortunate that when I saw it, I already knew that it was going to be a Pope heist,
Pope
right?
heist.
And that it was going to be crazy, because
We say a Pope heist like that's a genre of film.
yeah, Pope heisting. We're comfortable and used to the idea of Pope heisting when you could just say, like, here, watch this movie and not tell anybody about it. It would be classic because they're like, they're what? Because you get to the restaurant and they'd be like, okay, we're going to snatch the Pope, and the characters don't know that. And then the person that you're watching on the couch would be like, okay, what?
The what?
Wait, no, what? They're gonna steal the Pope?
No, I totally agree with that, because if I would not have known that they were going to steal the Pope, up to this point, the movie's been kind of crazy and fun.
It just seems like a mobby kind of movie.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, what?
The what?
Yeah, like, and the way that he tells
Pope?
them at the restaurant is just like really nonchalant. Like, hey, tonight we're going to go disco clubbing / steal a Pope.
Just so you know. Yeah. No, I freaking love this movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of my favorite bad movies. It instantly is like, I had to watch this movie again because it's totally year in review material. It may even be Hall of Fame material. I like the fact that I'm uncomfortable with the offensiveness still. It's not silly, like, oh, hey, look at these stupid 1970 guys. They just don't get it. It makes me uncomfortable every time that scene comes up with the hooker, and I like that. I don't like that it's offensive. I like that
it's authentic.
It's authentic, and we shouldn't forget our history lest we repeat it again type thing. It's so bad in every way that it's at the same time charming. The fucking music is incredible, and the emotions that this movie takes you through in its shittiness. Like, this is The Room, but you go for a ride as a viewer. You go on this trip with these guys on this boat and these adventures, and you feel things.
Yeah.
And there's emotions happening to the viewer along with you, along with Duke and his crew, as opposed to just like, oh, this is stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a level of wow.
The Pope
behind it
is really, the guy who does the Pope is great.
And the Pope is one of the most likable characters ever to grace film.
Yeah.
No, I love this movie. It's a must-do.
It's also, there's very few movies that are just an absolute train wreck that end up being this, and I think it helps that you have a highly skilled editor. Took 15 fucking years to get this thing to make as much sense as it does.
The editing is fantastic.
But that really nothing that has been this much of a disaster is this much fun.
It speaks to the skill of the guy, because Murawski, because the story is so bad and the acting is so bad, but the editing makes it seem like as good as anything, like as good as most of Oscar Academy Award winning movies are edited. The ones that win Best Picture, the editing could fit into any of those films.
Funny enough, he worked on The Hurt Locker.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
No, that guy is an expert at editing. I applaud him. He made this movie into like, wait, I almost sense quality behind this, but then somebody opens their mouth and you're like, nope. So, Sam, your pick is up next. You got any clues? You tapped in on anything?
I haven't decided. If I can get a hold of Deadbeat at Dawn, it will be that. If I can't, it will be something else.
All right. If any of our listeners have a... actually, that won't work because this is...
If Carl has a copy of Deadbeat at Dawn, it'll be Deadbeat at Dawn featuring Carl.
All right. Excellent. Well, we look forward to that. In the meantime...
Get to the chopper.
Visit us at www.stinkermadness.com. Follow Stinker Madness on Twitter @Stinker Madness. Please rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher. Thank you for listening, and get to the chopper.